Welcome to the Graduated Voice Updates. Be ready for the real tea, the tales to tell. Well, what would be worse than finding out that your grandparents, your elderly parents are being mistreated and neglected in an institution whereby you expect them to be taken care of? This comes after it was discovered that the vulnerable residents at a caregiving home for the elderly near Nairobi in Kenya have been mistreated and neglected for quite some time now. This is according to the BBC Africa Eye investigations. And as we get deeper into that, like the video, can also share us out there. Tell us what is your take on this case whereby we find that these people are supposed to be taking care of these old people, but instead they neglect their needs like the food, eating habits, the hygiene levels of foods, their medical conditions and all. And also make sure that you subscribe to get the real tea as it happens. From a secret film, it is seen that one of the staff members is hitting an elderly woman from the buttocks, on her buttocks. That means they are physically mistreating residents here. Also, we have the case whereby food is being dumped directly on tables without any plate. You can imagine having food directly from the table. What kind of hygiene is that? And also, it doesn't matter which condition the old person or let it say the grandmother is going through, is facing, they are being left like that untreated. We all know that when it comes to a certain age, people start getting sick depending on the person's health condition and all. And so in this case, their medical conditions are not considered, they're just left like that. And according to this particular footage, it is seen that just a few minutes before the caning of this woman takes place, we have three staff members dressed in purple uniforms who surround the old woman by a metal gate flanked by sheets of corrugated iron at the perimeter of the home's garden. And one of the staffs is heard stating, "Where were you heading to on that side? You were called and refused to come back." Just quotation and quotation. The old woman is wearing a fleece and bubble hat she appears to be confused and frightened, and all she says is, "Oh, please forgive me." And then the staff member is heard saying, "Now we have to cane you." You can imagine, despite the fact that you're told when someone gets old they go back to being like a baby, it doesn't give them the right to cane them. I don't know what kind of therapy or taking care that is. The staff member is then seen hitting the elderly woman's bottom with a wooden stick. You can imagine if she's your mother or your auntie being hit by the staff like that. These are things that are happening and no one has been talking about them because they have been undercover. This is just one of the example of evidence of mistreatment that was uncovered by the BBC Africa Eye investigations. You might be wondering, where is this taking place? This is taking place at the Presbyterian Church of East Africa, that is PCEA Thogoto Care Home for the Aged, which is about 20 kilometers, let's say like 12 miles west of Nairobi. You can hear that it is linked PCEA with the church and all. Something that you can wonder, is this what Christians are taught when it comes to taking care of the elderly? The starting of this particular caregiving home was by the Women's Guild of the local PCEA church, but now it is managed independently. It's kind of not really linked together with the church, that is PCEA, something that has changed over time. And at this time, it is a home to around 50 elderly women and men, despite the fact that it can be quite challenging to handle such a high number, because this is half to 100. That is such a high number of the elderly women and men. It can be challenging to handle them, but it doesn't mean that you have to treat them poorly, give them the poor eating habits, the poor dressing, the poor culturally habits, neglect their needs and all. If you feel like you're not able to manage something, I believe it's good you just state that actually, because now we are independent, I don't think we can do this. Let's just still stay conjoined or something of the sort. In most cases, we find that despite all these happenings, most of these caregiving homes, they are supported maybe by a local church, or mostly they rely on donations. Even if they rely on donations, they should not be beating them up or treating them badly, okay? Although they are donated, maybe things are not okay, they messed up here and there, that does not give them the right. In the next, let's say, 30 years, it has been discovered or studied that the elderly population in Africa will have tripled from 75 million to 235 million members. This is according to the United States Census Bureau report from 2020. So I believe even the young people right now, in 30 years, most of them will have gotten into the age bracket of the old, because if someone is like 27 right now plus 30 years from now, that is a total of around 60 elderly, 60 years old. Apparently, what is presented to the eye at some time is not what is actually on the ground. Some time back, let's say we are in 2023, like 3 years ago, in 2020, the Kenyan Broadcasting Channel, we have Ebru TV, it filmed inside the Thogoto Care Home, and the manager, Jane Gatoru, presented a very good image of the place. It showed that it was a safe haven for the elderly. It was showing how the old parents, the elderly men and women were being treated well, they were being fed and taken good care of, unlike what the BBC showed lately behind the scenes. Because some things are not said out loud, but that is the case. Apparently, I've really used that apparently today. Anyways, at other times you'll find that this is just one of the videos that was recorded. You can imagine what happens when there are no cameras or when no one is watching. And coincidentally, we also have some of the staff members who admitted to have used force. Let me just quote part of what they stated. Sometimes you have to use force. That is what they said. Even carers who start being polite, they find themselves being aggressive towards clients. So with time, you'll just start by being good to them, but when time continues, you find that you are just aggressive. Just a continuation of what she stated. We beat him, and that is what calms him down, because if he gets angry, he can even hit you with a rock. So at times, as much as we can judge them and all, it can be in terms of self-defense, if you can place it in that manner. I don't know if you agree with me. You can talk to me in the comment section and tell me what is your take on that. In another case, when you talk about the neglect of mistreatment when it comes to matters of medical condition, there's this one person there who was stating, let me quote, "I'm feeling pain too much. I feel like I'm burning." He was heard saying this in the footage, but trying to show an undercover reporter his neck, he claims care home staff won't take him to the hospital to be treated. And when you look at that, the gravity of his skin condition is difficult to determine in the secret footage, but the undercover reporter stated that he was bleeding very badly. And it also said that he gave money to Jane Gaturu, the care home manager, to take him to hospital. And despite the money, I told you that most of the times they rely on donors and all. Despite them being given the money, he was still not taken to the hospital. It took them, he was not taken to the hospital immediately. It took them like 6 weeks later on. That is when the man saw a doctor with the money provided by his family. So that's how bad the conditions are in this particular place. Others claim to have been in such poor conditions that they might have died from hunger. So overall, the condition in this particular place is bad, as much as they're defending themselves, stating that they can try times to be nice, but with time things get worse for the caregivers. I don't know what's your take on that. You can talk to us in the comment section, and remember, if it's happening, and all about it, and if I know all about it, I'll tell you all about it. So you can choose to like the video, shares out there, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to get the real tea, the tales to tell.